Chapter 5, Step 5, Making the Right Choice. And again, I'm reading from the book, What Works When Diets Don't, that you can actually get right now for free as a free download at our church website, westsidechristianfellowship.org. I know I'm saying that a lot, but we want to give you this free resource. And what I'm recording here, the podcast and the audio version is a lot of new information that wasn't in the book. Also, things are changing. I did write the book 24 years ago, but then I changed some things around 2020. And now I'm recording this summer of 2024. And we're going to get right into this because this is an important topic on food. Food. Friend or foe, what you need to know. We could say food, friend, and foe, what you need to know. And again, I'm going to be all over the place. Some of this will be redundant. The challenging part is many of you are well-versed in diet, nutrition. You already have your own plan, your own idea. You've got things dialed in. Others don't really even know what a calorie is, or macronutrients versus micronutrients, or all kinds of different things. So I'm going to try to weave in a lot of different information that can help you wherever you're at in your journey. And here's what I came to realize recently. We get our information from someone or from something. So you see all these, fitness experts. I think I listed a whole bunch of them that I kind of watch sometimes. And I'm getting my information from them. And I'm also getting my information from, let's say, Harvard releases a study, or Walter Longo at USC releases a study, or they just came out, Buchenheimer clinic in Germany, fasting clinic, just came out with a study on protein sparing. And so we're looking at studies. We're looking at all these different influencers. I mean, this guy is full on carnivore. Like, vegetables are trying to kill you. These people attack you if you dare mention meat and dairy. And it's like, we live in an unbelievable time right now. So what I try to do is look at everything from a biblical perspective, and it really helps me stay focused because we don't want to get too carried away. Guys, I've been there where, it's all about nutrition and measuring your food, and we can't eat there, we can't do that, and we can't. So I think you don't want to get carried away and hurt other people, your family members, and, you're on your deathbed thinking, oh, wow, okay, I lived to be 90, but I sure was a jerk, and so I want to avoid that. However, we want to educate people. We want what's best for our family. We want to, heal them. We want to feed them nutritious food, especially children. And so I'm going to go into a lot of different areas here. I know not everyone will agree with things, and there's new information coming out, about insulin and mTOR, and, the big thing right now, recently is, protein increases mTOR. But, some of the research I've seen, so does, glucose, carbohydrates. And so, where do you draw the line? And so that's why a relationship with God is so important. In His Word, let Him guide you, let Him direct you, put all things in perspective, let moderation be the mark of your lifestyle. But I do believe that for most reading this, I just saw this today, I've got to check it out. Half of the U.S. population will be overweight by 2030. So that's 6 years from now. And I don't doubt at this rate because, and I'm not going to go into detail. I just did on all the different podcasts and the first portion of this book that you can check out at your convenience, and to really get you going in the right direction. But there's just a lot of, misinformation, but the true information is also confusing. And so, I think I talked about in the chapter on preparation, but realizing this is a process. Okay. So if I'm going to, I've got to get this weight off, health issues as I get older, I'm not going to shoot for a crash diet. So in 60 days or 90 days, I'll be there. If I'm in the summer now, I'm going to look towards the summer of next year. And because it's a process, if you want to maintain muscle, lose fat the right way, maybe some intermittent fasting, maybe some prolonged fasting, you have to have realistic goals, and you get back up, you keep falling forward. You have to make some hard decisions. Dining out, is not part of my life much when I do that, or I've got some tricks I'll get into here later. I mean, one of them is realizing that pretty much all fast food restaurants, they use refined vegetable oils, very high in carbohydrates, the process of the foods, so you have to be strategic. One thing I do is maybe I might order a huge salad. I go to a place that has organic salad. It's got a mix of all different kinds of things. I'll just bring my own meat, grass-fed meat already with the salad dressing from my house and just mix it all together. Okay, it's a little weird, but I'm trying to accomplish some things here. And that's what you have to weigh. Do you want to be, just, he doesn't eat this or he does. No matter what you do, you're going to be, people are going to say things. If you're like when I was overweight, I was shame and guilt, and I knew I wasn't taking control of my body. And then when I tried to eat better, Shane don't have a Snickers bar around Shane. And there's always mocking, always joking. I mean, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. So you have to, say, okay, well, I'm going to be a little bit different, than most people. But, let me get into the section on food because it's so important. And again, I'm going to reemphasize some things here that will help you. There are more books, articles, and journals currently written about food than any other time in our history. Yet our problem with weight and poor nutrition continues to rise. In the past, most health and diet consultants agreed on one point: caloric intake determines weight gain or weight loss. Okay. This is an interesting topic because, again, no matter what podcast you can pretty much watch, you can find any type of fitness podcast that's going to support your view. I've realized that because they contradict each other, and that's why we have to just stay by the biblical model that God gave us, and that's what I'm attempting to do. So, in my opinion, again, looking at research, following a lot of these guys, studying with the National Academy of Sports Medicine, never got certified, but a lot of their material growing up. If you take in more energy than your body needs, you will store it. I mean, because I just watched one podcast the other day where it's like, it doesn't matter how much you eat. If insulin is low, you're not going to store fat. And, there's lipogenesis as well as gluconeogenesis. Converting glucose from nothing is gluconeogenesis. Lipogenesis is creating fat out of nothing. And so if fat can be turned into fat, carbohydrates can be turned into fat, excessive protein. I mean, if we eat too much, it's going to be stored. I mean, that's law of thermodynamics and more. Look at your checking account. If you're putting in more than you're taking out, you're going to save that money. So fat is a storage saving system. So I went back and forth on this, and I realized in my own life too, that number one, that is true. If insulin is down, it's going to be to your advantage. Certain calories, I'll take a bowl of organic brown rice, high in fiber, mixed with some broccoli and a little bit of pepper or something, 250, 300 calories. I'll take that any day over the Snickers bar, not only in relation to the glycemic index load, the nutritional value, because I'm giving my body something that's alive and living. The micronutrients are the vitamins, minerals, enzymes, things like that my body actually needs, where the other one, it actually doesn't need much of that. And so the Snickers bar is going to cause me to get hungry, probably with the insulin spike, definitely more inclined to, store that fat. And then you'll be seeing things like net carbohydrates. And I don't, I try to be careful in this area because I know there's one product out there. It's like 30 grams. Let's say 40 grams of carbohydrates. Wow. That's a lot for one little thing if you're trying to watch your weight and insulin levels. But then it says only net carbohydrates, 5. I'm like, how did that happen? Well, if you've got 35 grams of fiber. So the thought is, and I'm not really sold on this, the thought is all that fiber, the fiber is the bulk. It clings to the intestinal tract and it's excreted through the body. And so that carbohydrates, those 40 grams, are not really used because 35 grams of that is fiber. But the nutrient value of those carbs and the density and how it affects the body, I just don't take that too seriously, although it might be completely true. And I would definitely err on the side of way more fiber. But I would also, if it were me, I would count that as 40 grams of carbohydrates, just as my own personal, weight loss plan. And so I do think caloric intake determines weight gain without a shadow of a doubt. I'm going to give you some things right now that will be very helpful I've noticed in my own life, I think it's, when we talk about biblical, we have to say, are the principles biblical? Because, you're not going to find out what diet is best necessarily in the Bible as far as, weight loss or different things. You see what types of foods they ate. They were very active. So trying to mimic that type of lifestyle as close as possible. That's why you'll hear right now a lot, 10,000 steps on your iPhone or your watch, I should say. And, that's good. I tried to do that the other day, and it's harder than you think. You've got to get out and walk. I was 2,000 steps short around 6 o'clock, and I just got my shoes on and walked up and down the street and felt better, slept better. And so there's something about moving a lot more. So I'm going to help you guys right now as we get into more of this. You need to pray, see what God puts on your heart. That to me is the key, because what he's having me do might be different than what he's having you do. But I do know this, that around in low calorie diets, you'll be seeing all this stuff, low calorie, you're setting yourself up for failure. They're worthless. They're not enough protein. But then you hear from other people. I mean, look at Walter Longo's success on the fasting mimicking diet and other people. And so how we were designed, I think we were designed to go low calories from time to time. But what this side is saying is you have to be careful because, okay, I'm 1,000 calories for a month. Wow, I lost 20 pounds. And you start eating again, it's going to come back on, and you're really, so when you do these things, you have to be strategic. For example, what I would recommend is, when I was in the health and fitness industry, we talked about portion size, and it was really easy for people because, let's say a fist, picture that as a cup of rice. You have a cup of rice, and then I'd have, just, about the size of this, a chicken breast, and then, 2 cups of these of, let's say brown rice or maybe a yam. Oh, no, I'm sorry, vegetables. We already talked about the complex carbs, and then a little bit of, a fat like some almonds or something, walnuts. And that would be, that's probably 200, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on salad dressing, 7, 8. That's probably, let's say 700 calories, 3 times a day. It's 2,100 calories. It's healthy food. It's in moderation. No snacking, no eating late. You're gonna lose weight. So you can try that approach. It would be good. Another approach is you do have just have 500 calories. I've done this before, and as long as those calories are high in protein, and there's different studies. I've reached out to a lot of the experts, and they recommend anywhere between 800 to 1,000 calories. High in protein, good 50% protein will spare your muscle. So you won't go into this catabolic state for your muscle, because your muscle will be broken down into fuel, gluconeogenesis, if there is the need is there. So some resistance training and 50% protein, and you can do 1,000 calories a day. And maybe what I would do is do it for 2 weeks, 10 days, 3 weeks. I mean, whatever, my max is about 10 days or so. And then, okay, need a breather. And so for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 days, I'll eat good. And I'll eat not a lot, maybe again, 2,400 calories or something, like, or they call it a maintenance phase. And then I'll jump right back on that lower calorie program again until I keep hitting away at it, People, some will incorporate water fasting, which is good. I've written about that. Buckingheimer Wilhelmi, I think I pronounced it right, in Germany, they actually put people on about 250 calories, but it's all juice and soup. And they show some studies where they followed men on a 10-day study, and they actually maintained their muscle. So I have I don't disagree with the study. I just don't know the extent of it, how many other studies are out there, but it kind of seems hard for me to comprehend, because if they're kind of active, I don't know how the body just saves that muscle completely when you're at such a low caloric range, because you need, maybe you don't know how this works, but your body burns calories 24 hours, 7 days a week. So let's just say you're burning 1,800 calories. Let's keep it simple. Let's say it's a woman. She does nothing. She burns 1,500 calories a day, doing nothing. My eyes blinking, my heart, 1,500 calories a day. That's that base metabolic rate, right? And then you throw in some exercise. Let's see, these people are exercising. There's another 500. So you're up to 2,000 calories a day now that you've burned. So if you consume 2,000 and you're burning 2,000, the thought is, you would maintain. Of course, I've got some thoughts on that because there is a post workout caloric burn that takes place, where your metabolic rate is raised up. And so, you'll never get the numbers right. And then there's something very interesting called NEAT. You might hear some of these guys talk about it. NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It means things I'm not, okay, I'm going to do exercise. This is just basically how you're wired. Think of NEAT as how you're wired. And so, I think of people with a high NEAT, and that just means they're kind of fidgety. They can't sit down. They're moving more. So their body is burning a lot more calories. I had a friend of mine, we would eat the same and he would remain lean and I wouldn't, but he was kind of fidgety and always, moving and doing and that burns calories. Let's just think about this. Let's just say they're, a little more active. They like, they're kind of even like right now let's say I'm shaking my feet. Shaking my feet, kind of moving more. Even 50 calories more an hour means you're burning 1,200 more calories throughout the day. Well, I guess that wouldn't be because we're all sleeping. So let's say, even 50 calories in your waking hours, you're burning 800 calories. The person who's more jittery, and, just out and about more and just, things that you don't track, you just don't really realize. They're burning 800 more calories than you. So that's where the NEAT principle comes into play. So what we need to do, what I've been talking about, is you get up, you get off the internet, you get off the couch. It's hard at first, but you start walking, you start staying active, maybe play outside with your kids. And these little, if you add up 150, 200 calories extra you're burning that you normally wouldn't over the course of a month, that's a lot. You do the math times 200 times 30. And that's a lot of extra calories that you're burning. So see, there's a science to this, but there's also a lot of common sense. So back to what I said, 10 minutes ago, caloric intake does matter big time. And we're going to get into that. However, you don't want to micromanage your calories necessarily. That's why I gave you the portion sizes. What to do, maybe 3 of those meals a day, no snacking, no eating, 3 hours before you go to bed. I can tell a big difference if I eat before I go to bed. The sleep isn't as good and things like that. And then you start getting active, you start exercising, and remember, it takes time. Some people, I remember talking to people and they're like, I can finally see some definition in my arms after a month. And that's not the goal, but it's nice to see, okay, so this is a very slow process where your muscle is maintaining body fat. Is these body fat cells. Remember, I think fat cells can increase 10 to 20 times their size. So it's a process. And be careful on the scale. I maybe would weigh myself once a week. If you do it every day, you take the weekly average. And we can get caught up on that because let's say I got up last night and had a little bit of some almonds or something with, they were sodium. They were salted and things. And now that sodium, I drank more water. Now that sodium actually caused me to retain water. So when I get up in the morning, how did I gain a pound yesterday? This is not working. No, it's some metabolic processes in your body. So you have to say it is working. I'm eating healthy. It's a process. It's going to take time. I feel better because I'm in control. I know I'm doing something good for my body. I'm going to just keep moving forward, and you'll see. You that pound will come off, and even there's so many different opinions on how much muscle you can gain. I would say the average person not using hormone replacement therapy, you're only talking maybe 2-3 pounds in 6 months. People say, I must be gaining muscle. Well, you're not going to gain a pound of muscle in a week, just naturally. Now, there's a process. So let's say you're gaining a little bit of muscle. You're losing a lot of some body fat. It's hard to tell, but there's also chemical changes that are taking place in your body. And the electrolytes play a huge role, the sodium, potassium, magnesium, and how they have your body retain water. A gallon of water, what is a gallon of water? 7 pounds. So let's say you're retaining half a gallon. That's why the weight, I don't go by my weight too much. I don't really use it as a gauge. The best thing is actually measurements. If you want to measure hips, waist, navel area, maybe around your chest if you can. And you see, oh man, I'm down a quarter inch, or my pants are fitting better. You're going in the right direction. So I just want to really hone in on this point. I know I stopped 4 sentences into the book, but calorie intake matters. The type of food you eat really matters as well, because, and I'm going to, as we go on here, but I know people are going to jump right to the section. I want to give them something right now. They can start right now. Of course, for more information, they can download the book for free at the church website. It's on other platforms, but the only place we could get a free link was on our church website. And it'll help you, with the motivation, the preparation that I've been talking about. But you need to know that you can do it. It takes some discipline. You fall forward. So when you look at, okay, this is my lifestyle. I mean, that, health is a fitness is my lifestyle. I might not be a 6-pack of abs. I might not be a fitness expert, but I'm going to have energy. I'm taking care of my body. I feel better. When I feel better physically, I'm also feeling better spiritually. Okay, this is the process. I don't even, I'll just open up. I think I did earlier on, but I got up to 220 pounds. And I've been slowly. So as I'm doing this book, I'm actually living it. I'm living it. And I got down to 208 currently. And my goal is like 195, what I was in high school. And 206 like last week. And then, just ate very, very healthy, maybe didn't exercise as much, the sodium. And, this morning I did it because I knew I'd doing this podcast. I'm almost 209. So I'm like 3 pounds. Oh my gosh. That's what most people think. This doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, well, my goal is to keep going. Where will I be this winter? Where will I be next summer? It's my lifestyle and I feel better. And people say, oh, that's, you must not be having fun in life. It's so hard. You have to say no to chocolate ice cream. When you start these patterns, you actually feel better. Like I feel great being in control. And I can have a couple scoops of ice cream now and then. And the body's listening to me versus me listening to it and the desires. And I feel better spiritually. And again, when your clothes fit better and you get off some of this, it's just wise. You get off some of this extra weight. It's like I just carried a 20-pound backpack, did some rucking. And, man, when I let that thing off, put it on the ground, I felt so much better and just, wow, and that's what it is. It's freeing. We don't need this extra weight. We don't need this extra fat. We need to shed it. And I believe that's biblical, moving more. In some cases, eating less. We don't need to look at, and I also cut out chips and crackers, even healthy ones, because a lot of the healthy ones have refined oil. They will spike your insulin. It's nothing but carbs that have been processed. In the body, I believe the body, you have a half a yam, your body's going to respond to that much different than, same amount of calories, chips, organic chips, it's completely different. So that really helped me as well. And I'll continue to report on my journey as I'm recording this book. But that is the key. Portion size is what I just said. Maybe try 3 meals a day, those portion sizes. And if you have a snack, don't freak out. Oh, well, you get back on track. Doesn't matter. And you add walking to your life, walk the dogs, push the kids in a cart, sign up for some sport, join a local gym if you feel led to do that. We want to make sure it's not an obsession, but it's a passion. Big difference. Not an obsession, but a passion. And as I unpack this chapter, we're going to talk a lot more about that. And I'm hoping it can help get you on the right footing as we move forward.